Hello, my name is Mehdi. I'm the founder and co-owner of Villa Jerada. We are a company that specializes in Moroccan and Levantine pantry items. And today we have the pleasure of making a winter vegetable tagine in collaboration with Kin Food. So for our winter vegetable tagine today, you will need some potatoes, some carrots, some onions, some garlic, a little bit of parsley and cilantro, some extra virgin olive oil, some saffron is optional, tomato paste, raisins, our signature Ras el Hanout, some green olives, some preserved lemons, a little bit of water. On the spices, you also need some turmeric, ginger, and black pepper. So now we're gonna start prepping our vegetables. We're gonna cut thick matchsticks on the carrots, and then we're gonna cut some onions. These will go on the bottom, so as you can see they're a little bit thicker. And then we're gonna cut another half onion, a little bit thinner, that will go on top. On the carrots, we're gonna cut them in little discs of almost about a centimeter. And on this onion, I'm just going to use the half. And we're going to cut it very thin, because this will go as the cap for the tagine on top with the raisins. So we want it to caramelize and to kind of melt and extract the waters as well. These onions are mostly for protecting the vegetables from not burning or cooking, because usually a tagine is a clay pot and the heat control is quite different. So the onion has a dual role. It provides flavor, but also protects whatever you have cooking there from burning or sticking. And these top onions, you want them to be very thin, almost transparent. And I just crushed my garlic. I don't need to cut it in pieces, and we're gonna remove this. Usually when it's a young garlic from springtime, you don't have to remove it, but this is a dry garlic, so you have the unpleasant root in the middle. So after this, we're gonna lay out the tagine on, if you have a tagine, you can use it. If not, it's totally fine. We can use a cast iron or even a frying pan. And it does an amazing, it gives an amazing result as well. Okay. Now we're gonna mix our spices. I find it very easy, especially when you're cooking and adding spices, to just have them all in a bowl or in a cup and just add them into your cooking. So we got some Ras el Hanout. It's an amazing blend. It has about 16 spices that we blend and grind on a weekly basis. It's super, super fresh and fragrant. Also gonna add some turmeric. Honestly, with spices, it's up to your liking. At least in the Moroccan cooking, you know, we don't really settle on tablespoons and teaspoons. Each family is fond of a specific spice tone at the end. So, but I think with the Moroccan cooking, the beauty with spices is the final result, which is always very, very settled. Then we're gonna add some black pepper. So we're gonna start the cooking. We're gonna start the heat. We always start probably on medium high, and we're gonna put olive oil, and then we're gonna lay our onions. So these onions are gonna caramelize as they cook, and they're also gonna be a shield against any burning or sticking for the vegetables. Usually this is in consideration when tagines have meats or fish or chicken. So they're always layered at the bottom with either onions, celery sticks, parsley stems, carrot tops, anything, any kind of greens that could be recycled, provide flavor and act as a barrier from sticking. I used. Sometimes people even use like fennel stems as well. And it's a pretty fun dish to do with kids because you're basically almost like building a pyramid, and the pyramid respects the hierarchy of cooking. So you always start with onions, are very they can cook for hours and hours because they have a lot of water and sugars, and then you root vegetables. And for example, in the summertime, the tomato will be at the end with the peppers or the courgettes or zucchini or eggplant, and then the bottom is always something that can handle the heat, like carrots, potatoes. Now we're gonna put our carrots. Again, on a regular tagine, sometimes it's built as a dome, or you can go flat. So both ways are great. Potatoes here. Put my carrots. And the great thing about this dish is that it's such an open dish. I mean, you can clean your fridge with this dish. Whatever vegetables you have, within this, root vegetables, soft vegetables like onions. And now we're gonna add our spices. Just gonna add a little bit of water just to make sure things that eventually spreads on the tagine. Don't worry if it's not equal, because we're gonna add liquid, and with the cooking it will spread around. Almost forgot my garlic. Garlic just scattered. Now I used the same bowl and I added the tomato paste and some water just to capture everything that's still sticking into the bowl. Give it a little mix, and I'm gonna pour it. I'm gonna lower my heat a little bit. I just had the heat on medium high just to kind of flush the onions a little bit so they can start releasing liquid. Already having a boiling level, so I'm gonna turn it down to medium. Gonna add a little bit more water, especially on the spices, so they can break down. So you don't want to have any lumps. If you see any lumps of spices, just break them down or push them towards the liquid. They will cook. Now we're gonna put a little dome with these very thin onions on top, just like that. You're also going to release more water, so that's why we're very careful with the water. And this is a dish where most people always watch the water. There's no specific amount. If you need more water, you add it. It's always better to start with less. And we're going to add our raisins. So we're going to put them like that. We're going to add our olives. And again, with olives, if you love olives like we do, at least about 5 to 6 olives per person. But I'll leave it to you to decide on that. Now we're almost done. Now all we do is add a little bit of salt. We're also going to be very easy on the salt because we already have the olives, and then we're going to add the preserved lemons. A little bit of salt. And then we're good. We're just going to cover it, and we're going to let it cook until the vegetables are soft, probably about 20 minutes. So now we're going to prep our garnishes. So we have the cilantro and parsley that we're going to chop. Then we're going to use a preserved lemon. I used about a 4 preserved lemon, but it's up to your liking in terms of, you know, the acidity and the citrus level you want to bring to your dish. But traditionally in Morocco, we appreciate these flavors, so we use quite a bit of them. We get rid of this. Unfortunately, we don't use it. We use it in different dishes, like a chicken marinade or something we separated. But that's something that is always removed. And this is actually a good example why we don't make any preserved lemon paste, because you can use the skin and the pulp in separate processes, but never together. So we'll remove this. And again, you can keep this. This is an amazing flavor punch for, you know, like chicken, fish, shrimp. You are making a marinade, or even a little vinaigrette, and you dice it. You can even put it in a food processor with your vinaigrette. But the prize is definitely the skin. Just completely 2 different flavors and purposes. You can cut them the way you want. I like to cut them in little thin slices, so everybody gets a little bit. Now we're gonna go back to our tagine. We're gonna put these on top. So our tagine is cooking. It's almost done, probably, because there's no protein, no meat, no cicken, just vegetables, and there's a lot of moisture. So I'm just gonna add my herbs. Parsley. Then we're gonna add our preserved lemon. Usually our moms, they make it nice and put all the lemons nicely, so it makes a nice garnish, but we're just gonna focus on taste today. So just check, I can already see that my potatoes are really getting softer and starting to take the cooking, the heat. And we cover again, and we'll check back again in 10 minutes. So we're gonna check on our tagine to see how the water level is. Looks great. This is the kind of liquid texture that you're looking for. You know, bubbly, not too stewy or soupy, kind of very thick sauce. Although it's perfect, I'm just gonna add some because it's still gonna cook for probably another 5 minutes. So I wanna make sure I compensate, you know, the level of water that's going to evaporate within the next 5 minutes. So at the end, when I'm done, I'll have the same level of liquids. All right, so our tagine is ready. I'm just gonna add one final thing, which is a nice, generous drizzle of olive oil. And then you enjoy it with some bread. As you can see, the sauce is very thick, very juicy, and I'm sure it's very delicious. Enjoy.